welcome to the Connection Podcast. I am Lauren Dry, also known as the Connection Catalyst. Connection and this podcast for me is personal. As a driven professional, I found myself an expert in all things work and business. But it was at home that I really needed clarity and ease. After finally finding it one marriage breakdown and one marriage reset later, and finally discovering what really works to have connection in modern relationships, using science, simplicity and soul, our signature program Rise into Regulation was born that's giving so many others in modern driven relationships back clarity and ease for good. On the podcast today, we're going to dive deep together on all things relationships, business, identity and leadership. And clarity and ease is at the heart of it all, and we are so happy to be with you so that you can have what you need in connection, mind, body and soul too. I'd love to tell you what an escape clause is today, and it's going to take you by surprise. So when it comes to an escape clause, what might come to you as a way to escape a conversation? But I'm going to tell you a story as to how I discovered my own escape clause and how it was stopping me from having really safe relationships, being able to regulate and just showing up for myself really, really well. When I was doing my upskilling of my certifications, I actually had a mentor who I was working with again, who was wonderful. Shout out to you, Jeremy. And when it came to upskilling my qualifications and adding some additional work around my hypnotherapy experience, I went into the class having full awareness that a lot of the work there I had done before. And so being a busy mum of two with a business, just life on my plate, I had a conversation with Jeremy at the start of this upskilling course, and with full recognition that half of it was something that I had done before, and said to him, "Hey buddy, I just wanted to let you know that when it comes to some of this material, I have already done it before. And I want to be really respectful of your space. So I'm not going to come to the parts of the course where I've already done this material. I don't want to show up yawning or disinterested. I want to be really respectful of your space." And I had a really interesting response from my mentor. He said, "Why is it that you don't feel like you're going to gain benefit out of making sure that you are really grounded in with the tools that you already have, and that by practicing them again, you're not going to get better at it?" And I said to him, "Oh, mate, I appreciate you trying to coach me right now, but I'm real tired. I'm really, really tired. I hardly got any sleep last night. I've been so busy with work, so exhausted. My son's not sleeping. And I just want to show up as my best, and I don't want to give any kind of communication to your wonderful other students that I'm not interested in the work that we're doing together." And he asked me this really fascinating question. He said, "Where is 'I'm tired'? Where has the phrase 'I'm tired' stopped you in the past from having the things that you want and the things that you need?" And I kind of paused for a second, and I'll be honest, I was a little bit irritated. I thought to myself, I'm like, "Mate, why are you doing this to me? I am tired because I'm tired." It's a human trait. It happens, and it happens when you go past your capacity. And it's okay for me to own when I've gone past my capacity. And he said to me, "I just want you to sit with the question for a second and see what comes up." And bless him, he's a wonderful container. So he allowed me to just sit in the discomfort of that for a second. And this is why I always suggest working with a beautiful mentor who allows you to sit in healthy discomfort with friendship and compassion, because that's what he showed me that day. And I paused and I thought to myself, okay, so what are some things that I've wanted to achieve in the past? Why haven't I done my upskilling of this before now? Why didn't I go and reset my hidden patterns when I knew for years after doing the research that this was the one thing that was going to work for me in my marriage and in all of my relationships when I was having difficulty? Why did I postpone so many things because I was busy, tired, there were other things that were financially more important, and then find myself years down the track in the same place? And I kept hearing this phrase, "I'm really, really tired. I'm really, really busy." And what was interesting is that when I scanned back, I was never any more tired or more busy at any point in time over the previous years. In fact, although I felt tired that day, I was no more tired in comparison than some other times that I had been. And to be honest, it didn't look like I was going to be any less tired in the future. And so I paused and I said, oh, that's a really, really interesting point. And I sat with it. And it's something that, I'll be honest, has completely changed my life, because there are times where, you know what, you can absolutely push past your capacity in an unhealthy way. And you can work yourself to the bone, which is why I always recommend, if you do have a goal, to use the SMART strategy, the final T being time. If you're going to work past your capacity, do it for a specific time period. Don't go past that time period, because otherwise what you're doing is self-abandonment. We can't have that. But I was no more busy at that point than I ever was in the past. What I really challenged myself around that phrase, and what sat with me for so long afterwards, was this question. Am I using the phrase I am tired or I am busy as a way to protect myself from healthy discomfort, which is it's timed, you have a specific period where, you know, you may be slightly past your capacity and slightly overdoing your energy, but it's for a goal and it's going to be worth stretching yourself? Or am I thinking and believing the lies of my nervous system, which are putting me into out of fight, flight, fawn, and freeze? I'm dissociating. I'm convincing myself that in order to feel safe, I have to move away from discomfort. But if we just only move away from any kind of discomfort, and that's our nervous system response and we believe it, what we're doing is not helping ourselves, we're dissociating, which creates unhealthy discomfort. It's extended discomfort. It's just more low level and it lasts for a long period of time. And when we're forced to change, the impetus and the reason for why we change or do what we really want to do is much bigger and much more catastrophic. So I'd really love to challenge you, if you have ever told yourself, and I know we all have, I'm tired or I'm busy, I want to lovingly hold your hand as I say this. You're right. You probably are tired and you probably are busy. But ask yourself lovingly, has this phrase been stopping me from practicing a regulation tool? Maybe putting on a breathwork exercise, maybe reaching out for some support, asking a question from someone I admire or someone I respect. Are these two phrases, when it comes to having a difficult conversation, protecting me from vulnerability? Vulnerability is scary, but it's also healthy discomfort. And if it feels too stretchy, am I gaining support to move out of that discomfort? When we understand the power and the difference between true exhaustion that needs to be nourished versus an escape clause phrase that we use for ourselves, then we have autonomy. We have the opposite of control. We have mastery. And so I want to share with you some common escape clause phrases. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm too busy. I don't have time. I'm fine is an escape clause to avoid having uncomfortable conversations, as is it's not that big of a deal. Okay? If your body is screaming that something is a big deal, but your logical mind is saying, just leave it. Listen to your body. Go deep. You know, you can simplify really complex conversations when you honor what's happening internally. And you can have a lot of mastery, a lot of connection, a lot of opportunity that comes out of that. And so what I did following that conversation is I went to the class and I finished and redid the elements that I had done before. And I did get a lot out of it. I got a lot out of it that I didn't expect. And I will be forever grateful to my first mentor for allowing me to sit in that discomfort in a loving, beautiful, compassionate way. And it's something that I carry through my personal life. When someone's having a challenging time, how can I lovingly hold space for them in a way that allows them to consider uncomfortable conversations? You know, am I being honest just for the sake of being able to assert my opinion versus am I creating space for people to consider? And most importantly, when it comes to my goals and the things that I want, am I creating a healthy relationship between true levels of exhaustion versus stretchy, healthy discomfort, and allowing myself an opportunity to grow, but also having full awareness of where it's stretchy versus past my capacity? And if you haven't already dived into the SMART guidelines around how to achieve your goals, I definitely encourage you to do that. And I always stress to all of my clients, T being the most important, timed. Have a goal, whether it's in 7 days, 14 days, 3 months, 3 years, and put the steps in place. It becomes a lot more doable that way. I hope this episode supported you. And as always, if you have some more questions or if it's brought something up in you, something you want to talk about, and you really want to talk to someone who gets it, come and hang out with me on Instagram. I would love to chat with you. It would be wonderful to connect. Please subscribe and share this episode if you feel that it resonated with you, and come and hang out with us anytime on Instagram. We would love to see you. Big love.